The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast platform, its affiliates, or even the hosts. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, financial, or professional advice. The host and guests are not liable for any errors of omission in the content, nor for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from the use of the information provided. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional advice relevant to their specific circumstances. Now enjoy.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 6 of Spotlight with That B, and I am That B. This week, I have decided to give y'all the follow-up to last week's episode. Now, last week, I had mentioned that my favorite spot to go to and unwind in Miami is Dantes Hifi Miami. And I showed you some pictures of moments that I had enjoyed while throughout the years. And it's been about 3-4 years at this point. Throughout the years, I have collected a lot of content. Most recently, there have been different DJs that have returned that I was not able to in the past see actually spin, but only because I had arrived too late or because the day that they actually were doing their set, I was too busy working or I couldn't get time off. One of these DJs is actually Scratch Bastard. Now, I follow him on IG. I think he's a phenomenal DJ. One of the things that I notice about him is he knows how to definitely work the crowd. Now, the other person that I went to see, I saw 2 DJs this past week. The other DJ is someone that I support often here in Miami, but when he DJs for the doo-wop in Miami, and that's DJ A Fly Guy. Shout out to A Fly Guy, who is actually part of the R&B Money family. Woo woo! And if you know me, you know I love me some R&B fam. So I love to support him. I've been to quite a few of his events here in Miami, and I was always suggesting that he should DJ at Dante's. A few months back, or a couple months back, he actually did his first set in Dante's. I went, I attended, I really enjoyed it, and I was definitely for him returning. So, of course, he returned on Thursday, and I also went to go support. So today, I'm going to show y'all a little bit of the content that I was able to get while I was there. Now, I'm going to start with Scratch Bastard and my experience. And he was there on Friday. So Friday I was a little bit more relaxed when I showed up, only due to the fact that because of my workload at work, it's something where on Thursday, the day before when I went, I had to rush to get there. There was a lot of things that I needed to do the following day, which was Friday. And it did have me throughout the week leading up to Thursday. It did have me really tired. So I made sure that I got rest when I got home on Thursday night, knowing that Scratch Bastard was going to be there on Friday. And I wanted to definitely stay a little bit longer than I was able to the night before to see A Fly Guy. So I'm glad I did. I'm glad I didn't arrive too early because as I was actually there, I think he might have arrived about an hour after I arrived. Good thing is that before the main DJ shows up, they also do have other DJs. I do want to mention DJ, and this is the way you spell his name. I hope I am pronouncing it correctly, Devize, and that's Dvize. And he was there until Scratch Bastard came. Definitely not something to miss. I really do enjoy when he does his sets and when he's spinning. I've seen him often now at Dante's, and he is definitely getting way better to where I would imagine in not very long he's definitely going to be master class type DJ. So I was there. I was able to enjoy Devise. About an hour later, I'm actually in the courtyard saying hi to different people, and this is when I see that is when Scratch Bastard arrived. Now, mind you, as I like to arrive early to places because what I like to do is, besides the parking, I like to make sure that I'm there early enough so I could grab content before it gets really crazy and a lot of people arrive. I like when I usually post these clips, I usually like to call them the "So It Begins" reels, because I do want to show people, depending on the night and depending on how early you do get there, you could actually run into where it's not a lot of people. You could, sit out there and chill. There's ample room for you to be sitting. If you want to go ahead and get a meal, you can do that. Um, and there was a cool breeze, so it was perfect to just sit outside and chill for a bit. So I enjoyed that. I always do. Um, Now, as the night kept going, definitely a lot more people arrived. By the time that he arrived, I walked into the actual through the actual doorway, and there was already a lot of people there. And there's a reason why I'm mentioning this. As I mentioned in the past, if let's say I wanted to sit at the bar at this point and it was already about 10:30, I want to say, um if I wanted to grab a seat, there would have been no seats available already at that time. Somebody did ask me, would 11 be too late? If you want a seat, I can't say this enough. Yes, or make a reservation. Now, I didn't go with a reservation because I usually don't want to sit. I usually want to be able to be my social butterfly self and walk around. So that is actually what I was doing. And I'm getting different pictures and, content and whatnot. So I arrive. It's already pretty packed in front of the DJ booth, but I work myself in. I was able to get myself a drink, and I did get my bottle of water. Shout out to Sarah that made sure that I had my bottle of water with me too. And I did take a picture of the drink so you guys could see. It is a fruity drink, but it was definitely strong. And that is one of the things that I really do like about Dante's. As I mentioned, not only the drinks are they tasty and flavorful, but they're definitely strong drinks. They're not weak drinks where you're thinking they're watered down. I usually, if I do have one, I usually have to limit it to one because I do not drink often, and they tend to sneak up on me. And this drink definitely did. So, but it was very tasty. So I wanted to take a picture of it before I had killed it, and I did. So I brought it for everyone to see. I do not remember the name of the drink. Party Foul Betty, because I should have taken a screenshot at what I ordered, but I didn't. But honestly, I have tried almost every drink on the menu, even though they keep on changing the menu on me. So then I got to start all over again. But so far, every drink I have tried is really, really good. So this was another one I could add onto the list because it was definitely tasty. I know it had guava in it, and that's what stood out to me. So the drink was great. I get to the front. I'm starting to get my content. Now, again, I am there. Technically, it was my very first time witnessing the awesomeness that is Scratch Bastard, because I hadn't really caught him for that long. I think the first time he came, I either caught him right as he was wrapping it up, or I caught him as he was about to take a break. So I hadn't really, besides everything I see him doing online and on Twitch, I hadn't really seen it live. Man, let me tell y'all, what a disservice I had done to myself, because the way I have enjoyed this man spinning, it is the only way I enjoy when I see really big DJs like my fave, Rich Medina, where they completely take you on a musical journey to where you're just enveloped in what it is that they are doing. And again, he did not disappoint, because and I wasn't the only one. Everyone around me was just waiting for when he did the transition that he was going to do, where we were all waiting to see what songs he was blending together. And it was that anticipation of what's he going to play next, that really had us all on lock. And I looked around, and I took some video clips of him DJing, so you could see his charisma and the way he is working the crowd. Yes, Scratch Bastard. Yes, work the crowd. That is my advice to a lot of DJs. Learn how to work the crowd. And I am going to say this. Both DJs I saw this past week, Scratch Bastard and a Fly Guy, one of their specialties is definitely working the crowd. Because at both nights that I went to, they were killing it. And the main thing they were doing was working that crowd. So I really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait for when he comes back. From the scratching, the choice of music, his curating was on point, and his energy. His energy is definitely what I needed after having a really long week at work, where I was stressed with everything going on in the news. And then, I'm stressed with things that are going on at my job. And I really needed that distraction. And let me tell you, I am so glad that I went. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I mentioned him in this follow-up spotlight, because I did mention I was going to go see both Scratch Bastard and a Fly Guy last week in my episode. As a matter of fact, I think it was the night I was supposed to see Fly Guy. And what I did say was, while y'all are watching this episode, I will most likely be at Dante's. And I was. I was actually, it was the first night, and I was watching a Fly Guy. But I wanted to definitely point out that I was very impressed with Scratch Bastard. I wish I could have stayed longer, but I was exhausted. I did stay a few hours. I also made sure that I got a picture of the sign, excuse me, of the location that I told y'all about, where they serve the smash burgers, and that is Celia's. So I got another good sign of Celia's for y'all to see. And then you could see the little hallway, so you see exactly where you need to go when you visit to go have your smash burgers. By the way, their fries, they have fries, are amazing too. So I did go. I hadn't even eaten dinner, so I did make sure that I went. And after I got a nice dose of all that good DJing and great music, I was in such a good mood that I walked myself outside. I went and I got myself my smash burger. I took a picture of that as well, and it was scrumptious, to say the least. I really, really enjoyed it. Now, I also took a quick picture before I move on to speak of Fly Guy. I took a quick picture of, I had mentioned in my last episode, I had mentioned not just how the courtyard was and how you could really run into anyone, any type of celebrity at Dante's. And there was someone that I saw there speaking to my favorite doorman and friend, Willow. Now, Willow has a beard, so when you see the picture, you'll know which one is Willow. And the person who showed up, I believe it was with his brothers. I didn't really recognize him because I didn't realize. Um, I was thinking, is that the person? But I was so involved with killing my smash burger, guys, that I was just like, it looks like, but I don't know. And I was preoccupied with my burger. Now, soon after that, I say my goodbyes to Willow. I'm already saying bye to everyone. And I look as I'm walking out, I look onto my IG and I see a post, and it's Willow posting the picture of the very same person that I saw having conversation with him that looked familiar to me. And lo and behold, I see why he looks familiar. It's because it was Lorenz Tate. Um, wow. So I thought that was awesome. Um, I hope he returns. I was not able to get a picture myself, but I did grab a screenshot so y'all could see Willow and also that Lorenz Tate was there. So that's what's up. I love that so many people of all walks of life support Dante's, and I wish them nothing but the best and continued success, and also that people continue to support them. It's definitely well deserved. So, moving on now to a Fly Guy. So, Thursday night, I leave home. I am rushing to do everything because I want to make sure that I go for at least an hour and a half so I can get my content, support while I'm there. And I wanted to make sure that if for I didn't know, because of the economy and because of everything that's going on, I didn't know how much people were going to go support. So I made up my mind where I was like, well, I'm at least going to be there and support. He's part of the R&B Money fam. This is what I do. So I took my little booty. Tired AF, y'all. I must have been looking crazy that night. But here's the one thing I also want to mention about Dante's. You can go dressed casual. I don't know if I mentioned it in my last live, but you could go dress casual. You could dress nice. I On the days I don't feel like dressing up, it is a great option to be able to either wear my sneakers. I mean, don't look like a bum. And don't wear I think you might not be able to wear sandals. I wear strappy sandals, but no like flip flops, I believe. But the point is that I could go casual, and that a lot of times it makes a big difference for everyone out here doing these events. I'm telling you, it makes a really, really big difference, especially when it's someone like me that has spent a lot of time working and we're just trying to get out there and support. We're not really trying to get out there and win, Fly Girl Award of the Year because of how I'm dressing. So I was very tired. I can't say this enough. But I definitely want to go support. So I show up. When I show up, it is so hot in Miami this night that it is sprinkling every now and then. This affects me because I like to sit out in the courtyard. I can't remember if when I arrived, he was already DJing because I think I arrived a little bit later that night. Um, but once again, I arrive and it's a good amount. It's a good crowd, a good amount of people. Um, and it still wasn't crazy yet, but I was thinking, oh, it's Thursday. Let me tell you, the way this crowd works, and I'm glad everybody came to support. Um, we should all, especially if we're in Miami, we should be supporting our own people too. So, and I mean people from Miami. So it is definitely something where I realized it felt like within about a half an hour of when I finally go up to the front, that night I had a water because I was tired, and I believe what I had was a beer, one beer, because it was so hot and I at least wanted something to drink. Um, Now, in about a half an hour, as I was saying, I looked to my side and it's already packed in there. So I knew that I could stay about my hour, hour and a half, and that there was no issues. He was going to feel the love and the support because a lot of people came out for him, and that is what's up. Which I've always wondered with the crowd that they get for the doo wop alone, besides all the other events he does, more people should definitely come to Dante's when it's not the regular venue. They should definitely come and support there as well. So I'm glad to see people got the memo because it was deep up in there, yo. Now he was killing it per usual. He was also working the crowd. I got some clips and some videos for y'all to see. Um, he had such a big group of people there dancing, that I had to opt after a certain point to go outside and hang out outside because there was so many girls bumping into me because they wanted to be the ones in the front that I was like, I know I'm not with this. Let me take my grown ass outside and go chill. So that's actually what I did. But I'm glad I went and I supported. Fly Guy is doing amazing. From when I initially started attending his events, um, which it was someplace downtown, I think. And then I would go also to the urban for the doo wops and whatnot. But I can't remember what the place downtown. I think it was called Bluebird or Blackbird, something like that. And it was like a hip hop night. From those days till now, he has definitely evolved into a much better DJ. I have noticed that his transitions are definitely better and his curating has definitely evolved and is way better. Not that it was bad before, but I am pointing out that you definitely can see that there's growth. And I'm very proud of him. That is awesome. I hope he continues to come back and spin at Dante's. I like seeing R&B Money and the doo wop headliner, all of y'all represented at my spot. So that really is the extent of what I wanted to share with everyone. Again, I had a great time on both nights. One of the nights, which I believe it was on, I want to say it was on Friday, I was leaving and I was in conversation with Willow, the doorman, whom I had sent actually it was on Friday because I had already done my spotlight, and since I mentioned him in the last episode, episode 5, I forwarded him the link to the episode. He posted it on his page. Shout out to Willow for your support. I appreciate you and thank you for doing that. So since he did that, others saw it, and he was telling me there is a young lady here that saw your episode, really enjoyed it, and she gave me positive feedback, and he's actually telling me she's right here. I speak to her and she gives me this boost of inspiration with all the positive feedback and encouragement for how she felt there was definitely a need for what I am doing, especially as a female, and especially for how I get into detail about what to expect when you go to these events. I told her then, I've been saying it on my lives, and I want to tell everyone when you come and you give me either constructive criticism or you give me this positive feedback, man, can I tell y'all, it lights a fire under me and I appreciate it wholeheartedly. So I thanked her then, and I want to make sure that I say it again. Thank you so much for those that support. I appreciate it like you have no idea. And I'm glad women understand why it is that I do what I do and are interested in the content that it is that I'm putting out there. I did also mention that it was a few episodes and that I also spotlight certain creatives where I have conversations with them on these episodes. So I do encourage everyone to not just watch the ones that are the interviews or not just watch the ones that are the spotlights or reviews on specific events or locations. Um, I'm trying to give you all as much variety as I can. So I'm going to give you a little bit of everything. So I do hope that you find this where it gets you curious enough to want to at least see a Fly Guy DJ or see Scratch Bastard DJ yourselves. I really enjoyed both. I do know that I don't believe it's this weekend, but the following weekend, we have another doo-wop in Miami. And I will most likely, because I can't tell the future or whatever, but it is on my agenda to attend, and I will bring my spotlight to you all in regards to my experience for that event as well. And this is actually in a different location. It will not be at Dante's. It is a different location. They have a couple where they have the doo-wops. This particular location is called La Otra, and it is also in Wynwood. And this will actually show you all a different type of venue. And I think with that, I leave you all tonight. I am on vacation, and I chose today, since it was the first vacation day, as my day to just do different things where I was just enjoying time off and away from my regular activities that I do, not on a daily but weekly. So I wanted it to be a little bit different, even if it meant that I was going to sit at home and relax and not do a thing. So I am still on that journey tonight. But I wanted to make sure that I did my spotlight. I wanted to do my follow up. I did have a couple people tell me, "Oh, so who was it that I had gone to go see?" And the ones that knew that I was going to go see Scratch Bastard asked me, did I enjoy it? And yes, I definitely did. So if you want to see more content from that night, it is already posted on my page. You got Betty's off key singing. You got a little bit of that night. And also a few videos, some reels, but it's for you to see again and experience what I did that night. With that, again, I leave you all. Have an amazing night. Shit's crazy out there, guys. Keep your head on a swivel. I can't say it enough. Love on each other. We all really, really need it right now. Spread love, stay safe, and walk with integrity. I will catch you all next week for episode 7 of Spotlight with That Be. Peace.